December 1872, the icy waters of the Atlantic Ocean. On the horizon, a ship appears, its sails full with wind, steadily holding its course. Her name is the Mary Celeste. But as one gets closer, a strangeness is noticed. A complete silence reigns over the vessel. There is no sailor on the deck, no captain at the helm. The ship is utterly empty. The captain, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, and the crew of 7, a total of 10 souls, had vanished as if into thin air in the middle of the sea. They left behind no sign of a struggle, no drop of blood, no call for help. This is the chilling story of history's greatest maritime mystery. The ghost ship, Mary Celeste. The story began on November 7, 1872, as the Mary Celeste departed from New York Harbor. The ship was loaded with 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, bound for Genoa, Italy. Her captain was Benjamin Briggs, a highly experienced and respected mariner. The captain was not alone on this voyage. With him were his beloved wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. The remaining 7 crew members were also carefully chosen, capable seamen. Everything was set for a routine transatlantic journey. The weather was fair, the ship was sound, and morale was high. Captain Briggs's initial entries in the ship's logbook suggested a smooth and uneventful passage. No one could have predicted that this hopeful journey would be a voyage from which they would never return. About a month later, on December 4th, another ship, the Dei Gratia, spotted the Mary Celeste drifting erratically off the Azores. Its captain, David Morehouse, knew the Mary Celeste and her captain, Benjamin Briggs. He knew instantly that something was wrong. Despite hailing the ship multiple times, they received no answer. Captain Morehouse sent a boarding party to investigate. What the party found on board was enough to chill their blood. The ship was completely deserted. There was not a single soul on deck. The sails were tattered, some in shreds. The ship's only lifeboat, a yawl, was missing. This indicated that the crew had deliberately abandoned the ship. But why? The ship was not taking on water, it was not sinking, and it was perfectly seaworthy. The interior of the ship was even stranger than the outside. All the crew's personal belongings, their money, and their sea chests were untouched. This almost completely ruled out the possibility of piracy. In the captain's cabin, his wife's sewing machine and his young daughter's toys remained. The last entry in the captain's logbook was dated 10 days earlier, November 25th, and indicated nothing unusual. However, there were some strange details. The captain's sword was found rusted under his bed. The ship's chronometer and sextant, valuable navigational instruments, were missing. And the most confusing clue was in the cargo hold. 9 of the 1,701 barrels of alcohol were empty. These particular barrels were made of a different type of oak, which was more porous. Had they leaked alcohol, creating a fear of an explosion on board? Or had the crew consumed the alcohol and mutinied? But there were no signs of a struggle or violence anywhere on the ship. So, what happened to the 10 souls? The theories are countless. The most popular one is the fear of cargo explosion. Fearing that the leaking alcohol fumes would cause an explosion, Captain Briggs may have ordered a temporary evacuation to the lifeboat. Perhaps they tied the lifeboat to the ship with a weak tow line, and when the weather suddenly turned, or the line snapped, they were unable to get back to the main ship and were lost at sea. Another plausible theory is an unforeseen natural event. Perhaps a seaquake shook the vessel, or a rogue wave swept the deck, dragging the crew into the ocean. The theories of piracy and mutiny remain weak, as the valuable items and cargo on the ship were left untouched. And of course, there are the explanations that challenge the imagination. Did a giant sea monster attack them? Or were they abducted by a UFO? While these theories cannot be proven, they make the mystery of the Mary Celeste even more legendary. The Mary Celeste was salvaged, towed to Gibraltar, repaired, and continued to sail for years, but she was always known as the cursed ship. As for Captain Briggs, his family, and his crew, they were never heard from again. Their fate remains the greatest maritime secret in history. What could have compelled an experienced captain to abandon his perfectly sound ship in the middle of the ocean? The answer to that question lies deep in the Atlantic, where it has rested for 150 years, along with the 10 lost souls of the Mary Celeste.